Hey everyone, how's it going? Hassan here. You are listening to the Nintendo Fuse podcast. This is episode number 110, the best of 2014. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the best 3DS and Wii U games and crowning our own Nintendo Fuse Game of the Year. And to do that, here with me today is Steve.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Greg.
Hi guys.
And Barry.
Hey guys.
So as always, you can participate with us live. We have a chat room going as well. You can even watch our stream live. Full details on how to join in are on NintendoFuse.com, so check that out. We love to interact with you all, and we'll see your comments. So if you have your thoughts on your favorite games of the year, we'll mention them live on the podcast as well, and it's a lot of fun, so I'm excited about that. So, without further ado, let's kind of just jump right into it. We got a lot to cover, and apparently YouTube has maintenance at like 10 o'clock in like 45 minutes or so, we'll see how that goes. So we are going to be covering the following categories. We're going to go over 3DS eShop games, then Wii U eShop games, so we'll kind of get through the eShop games first. Then we'll go to the 3DS retail titles, then Wii U retail titles, and then each of our own Game of the Year, and then we'll crown the one and only Nintendo Fuse Game of the Year. Last year was Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. What's it going to be this year? We'll find out. And in fact, nobody else here knows except me, because everybody sent in their submissions to me, and then I tallied up the votes, so we'll find out what it is. So, first up, 3DS eShop. Let's get right to, we're going to kind of go with each of our number 3 picks, and then each of our number 2, and each of our number 1. So, Steve, what is your third pick for the 3DS eShop?
My third pick, so number 3 for eShop, was Steel Diver Sub Wars. Mainly because I didn't play a whole lot of eShop games this year on 3DS, and Steel Diver Sub Wars was free, so it's hard to compete with free. And it's a challenging game. I probably don't play it as much as I really should, especially since the updates and everything. They keep supporting it, and they keep giving more DLC and things like that. So I think that's cool. I think it's Nintendo. It's a cool way for them to venture out into something new. Not the best game, necessarily, but it is cool how you do team matches online and stuff like that. And so I do wish it had actual chat instead of just Morse code, because that's kind of dumb. But yeah, not a bad game.
Cool. I know Greg mentioned you didn't have any 3DS eShop games for a list or anything, so we'll kind of move. Well, actually, Barry didn't have a third choice. He just had 2 choices, right? So
No.
it seems like there just wasn't as much for us for 3DS eShop this time around. So I guess we'll jump over to me. And my third choice was Pokemon Battle Troze. Wait, was that a full retail title, or was that even eShop? Now I'm even forgetting. That might not even be right. So it shows you how much I played it. It was eShop?
Yeah, 3DS eShop.
Okay, so it was I played a little bit of it, and it was kind of fun. It was a decent little it's like similar to Pokemon Troze before. It was just the newer version of it, and you kind of catch Pokemon as you sort of play through the game in a way. And it was kind of a neat little thing. I honestly didn't really have much choices, so I kind of just stuck that on there as well. So that is my third choice, basically. So, Steve, what is your second choice for 3DS?
My second choice was also another free game. I think Nintendo decided to try a couple different things this year with having some free-to-play games with lots of different DLC and in-app purchases and things like that. And so number 2 on the eShop from 3DS was Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. And in fact, I actually liked this game a whole lot more than I expected to like it. When I first saw it shown off, I think it was, I don't know if it was the E3 thing or just another Nintendo, stream or whatever. I was like, no, this looks dumb. I'm not going to get into this. But it's one of those games that's really addicting, and you keep playing thinking, okay, I can do better next time, I can do better next time. And I ended up, I think I've only bought like half of the games in there, and you're able to negotiate the price. And so that's kind of cool too. So you can kind of get it down to, instead of spending $3 for an extra game, usually sometimes I was spending 79 cents or something for the next one. So Yeah, it's pretty addicting, and the Street Pass stuff is pretty cool because you can compete with other people that use Street Pass. It's not necessarily a worldwide leaderboard, but it's a leaderboard between people you use Street Pass with, so that's kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah, I was always really curious about how that game was, so sounds interesting. All right, Barry, what is your number 2 choice for 3DS eShop?
My number 2 was Mighty Gunvolt, which is kind of a brainchild between Kenji Inafune, who made Mega Man, with a smaller team, where his new character, Beck from Mighty Number 9, along with another new character of his, Azura Gunvolt, plus another character, all go into a very 8-bit Mega Man style game. I got it for free. It's a blast, and now I believe you have to pay for it, but they added double the content to the levels. So I haven't even played the new one. I've only played the original, but it's a blast. If you love playing Mega Man, you need to get that game.
Cool. For me, let's see. My number 2 choice was Steve's third choice, the Steel Diver Sub Wars. Again, it was free, so I figured I'd try it out, and it's actually quite fun for what it is. I mean, for a free game, there's online multiplayer is kind of interesting. I wasn't the best at it, but it was kind of cool, and it is pretty neat that they do constantly update it and improve it. So that's definitely a big plus. So Steel Diver Sub Wars is free, so you can't go wrong with that. Check it out on the eShop. So that brings us then to our top choices for 3DS eShop. So Steve, what is your number 1 3DS eShop game?
My number 1 is probably the number 1 of a lot of people, Shovel Knight. It's a fantastic game. I was not paying attention to it that much when it was still in the Kickstarter phases and all that stuff. It wasn't until, I believe, PAX East, when I was going around covering the show and everything, and I happened to stop by their booth and gave it a shot, both on Wii U and 3DS, and just immediately just fell in love with the old school style of gameplay, and just it's just a fantastic game. Definitely by far, like it's like head and shoulders over my number 2 and number 3 pick. In fact, that was like instantly when we started making this list. It was like, okay, Shovel Knight has to be at the top. If you have a 3DS and you haven't picked up Shovel Knight, you're just missing out.
All right. So Shovel Knight, yeah, I think this will be popping up a lot more later on. So we'll definitely be talking about that game more. Barry, what about you? What is your number 1 choice?
My picks were limited because I'm not a digital guy, but number 1 had to go to Azure Striker Gunvolt because I love Mega Man, I love Inafune, and I had to support him. And pretty much if Mighty Gunvolt is for your Mega Man fans, this is for your Mega Man X fans. It is 16-bit, amazing, like 2D shooter with a twist, a unique story, stage select just like Mega Man X and Mega Man. It's just, if you like that style play, you need to give this a try. It is great.
Cool. For me, my number 1 choice was we decided kind of to group in Virtual Console with eShop because I think some of us didn't always have some eShop choices and everything. So for me, really the one thing that I was really looking forward to was Virtual Console was Pokemon Trading Card Game for the Game Boy. I have the actual cartridge and everything, and it's a lot of fun. But I was glad to actually have it now on my 3DS and be able to play it. So it's not an original game, but it's out of the eShop games that I had. I guess this was the most fun that I had with it, so I picked it as my number 1. And so that kind of wraps up 3DS eShop. Not too many, big titles, I guess, but a couple nice little hits. Any other last thoughts on 3DS eShop in general for 2014?
No, I hope they pick up the the selection in 2015. Like really, it was a struggle I think for all of us to come up with a good solid top 3. I like how they experimented with some different stuff in 2014, but the overall quality just didn't seem like it was there like it has been in past years.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. As my list was blank. I mean, I did play Rusty's Baseball, but I didn't think it was worth mentioning because I didn't think it was a game that I'd recommend for a game of the year type of thing. So there are very few retail, like the downloadable games that I played on the 3DS this year.
I want to see them put together a compilation of downloadable games into a retail package, and start getting it out there, because there are a lot of great games, and I'm missing a ton of them. I know I am, and other people are too. But put them out in retail, get more exposure.
Right. Yeah, well, hopefully they pick up with the eShop titles in 2015. We'll have to see about that. So with that, let's move on to the next category. We're continuing the eShop theme here of the digital games, but we're moving on to the Wii U eShop. So for this, I don't have any choices for Wii U eShop. I realized I just downloaded actual retail games and not any eShop games in particular. But everybody else has a bunch of choices here. So Steve, what is your third choice for Wii U eShop?
So it was hard to pick. So other than, unlike you, Hassan, I actually had four that I had to pick two, and I just they ended up in a tie. So my number three choice is both X-Type Plus and Block Drop U. X-Type Plus is a fantastic dual stick shooter that it's incredibly simple, it's incredibly cheap, and it's incredibly addictive. I play that, like, if I just have some free time, I'll fire that thing up and just play several rounds, trying to get my score better and try to get higher on the world leaderboards. Great, I love dual stick shooters, and so it's a fun one. And Block Drop U is also a really fun game. Similar to X-Type Plus, it's a very cheap game. It's often on sale. It's like, I think normally like $1.99, but it's often on sale for like maybe 99 cents or less on the eShop. And it's just it's another puzzle game, and it's also very short. But like I said, it's like often $1, so you get what you pay for. And both of them are very addicting, cool, quick games.
Cool, nice. I just totally noticed the Goomba and the Yoshi and all the other people behind you, Steve. I didn't even realize that before. Nice. Greg, what about you? I guess you have some honorable mentions as well, right? And what is your third choice?
Yes, mine was kind of tough. I like a lot of the action platformer games, and I also like my variety of puzzle games, and I also like RPGs. So some of my honorable mentions was Pushmo World and 1001 Spikes. But my number three choice happened to be It'll Do. I am a very huge Zelda fan, and this is very Zelda inspired, and so that's what really drew me to the game. You quest around and you destroy enemies, solve puzzles, defeat bosses, the whole shebang thing. So I have less playing like Zelda.
Awesome, cool. So on to Barry for his third choice. Or did you have a tie for two?
I had a tie for second, so I really didn't have a third choice.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'll come back around.
Well, how about you just jump? I guess you want to jump into your second choice then.
Well, my second choice, because I get the physical of everything. I didn't really get money digital, but my second choice would be a tie between NES Remix 1 and 2, because I got them together in the pack that was just released last week, so I got to play around with them finally. I heard some good things, but I really did enjoy them, and I've wanted to play them, and I almost bought them until I found out Japan got a retail release, and I held out, and I'm glad I did, because they're really, really a blast to play. The challenges are great. I still need to get back to them. It's one of those games that I want to 100%, and I know I'm going to kill myself to do it, but I'm going to try, damn it. To the best of my ability, I'm going to try. But if you enjoy NES games, if you enjoy retro games, then pick them both up. Get the pack. If you like physical, otherwise, download. They're the same price.
Nice. Very cool. Steve, what is your second choice?
My second choice for Wii U eShop is NES Remix 2. Officially, NES Remix 1 released last year. I know the retail copy of the pack released this year, but officially 1 was last year. So 2, I'm pretty sure 1 was on my list from last year. I have to go back and look. But 2, I think, just really stepped it up and gave us a little more value for the price as well, and sticking in other games. And then you get, if you get both of them, you get the added extra challenge modes for the tournament style thing for that as well. So it's just really a lot in there. Like Barry, I need to go back and play it some more. It's gonna been on the digital shelf for a while. I need to go back and actually fire it up and play, because it's one of those games that you can turn on, play a few rounds, complete a few more challenges, and then kind of go on with your day. So it's one of those games that even though I own both of them on Wii U, I really want to get the 3DS version, because it's one of those on the go sort of things. So really enjoy NES Remix for the Wii U.
Nice, cool. So NES Remix seems to be pretty popular, 1 and 2, between the NintendoFuse crew here. Greg, what about you for your second choice?
Well, I did not actually just got NES Remix 2 on Saturday, so I didn't have a chance to include it in my list. But what I did have in my list is the game Unepic. That came out all the way back in January, and that's like an RPG game that throws nods at all the various different RPGs. There's like references to Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest, whatever you want to call it, Final Fantasy, and all sorts of kind of even funny and like witty comments all throughout the game. A very fun adventure game, and lots of leveling and lots of exploration to be done there. So I really enjoyed Unepic as my number 2.
Awesome. All right. So that brings us to the number 1 Wii U eShop title for all of us here. And funnily enough, this is everybody picked the same title for their number 1 choice for Wii U eShop, which tells me that I need to go download this game apparently, because I'm the only one that doesn't have anything. So I guess, Steve, do you want to kick this off with the
sure,
number 1
should, like, at the count of 3, we just all say it. So yeah, Shovel Knight, yet again. Fantastic game on 3DS. Wonderful game on Wii U as well. I mean, both of them, it's basically the same game. There's a few differences. Obviously, you got HD graphics on the Wii U, you got 3D graphics on the 3DS. But yeah, everything I said about the 3DS version, why it was so great, the same. It's still great on the Wii U as well. So own one of them, own both of them. It's a fantastic game, and you should have it.
I will go download it right now. What about you, Barry? What are your thoughts?
Everyone knows I am not a digital person, but after all the praise through our other podcast from Steve and through Greg, and for everything I read, I said, screw it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna download a game. My 32 gig is gonna slowly go away. But yeah, I haven't been disappointed. It's been a blast, and I love the retro look. I mean, my 3DS eShops are all retro styled games, and this whole list was retro styled games too with NES Remix. So yeah, what else is there to say? It's a fantastic game. It's well worth your money. It's well worth a purchase, and if you haven't yet, go download it now.
All right, and Greg?
Well, I guess maybe I should consider the 3DS version if it's as good as the Wii U version, but I guess I didn't want to double dip into that department. But obviously, as what they said, it's a great game, great music. I love that it throws nods to like Zelda 2 and to DuckTales, some of the classic games that were on the NES, and it just put them all together in a wonderful, well-made formula where the game is just very great and awesome. You do its service and buy Club Games Shovel Knight.
Nice. One question then for all of you: which one would you recommend more, Wii U or 3DS? Like, if I had to pick one, which one?
I mean, I prefer 3DS only because that's at this year I was gaming more on my 3DS, and so I like to be able to take it with me a lot more. But that's more of a personal reason why I chose the 3DS.
Gotcha.
I only got it on the Wii U, so I can only speak of that one.
Gotcha. Well, I guess I'll probably be downloading one of those too. I'll figure it out, but it seems like that's definitely a very good game, since it's everybody else's number 1 choice for Wii U eShop. So if you don't have it, better go check it out, like myself. So in the chat room as well, I want to mention a couple of games that people have been mentioning. So Dylan and Ryder's Poke Rangers is for Virtual Console. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. They like that game. Roth Sathi, so hello Roth. He says Zeo Drifter. And even though Sonic Last World was last year, Dylan Ryder's Poke Rangers also says he likes that as well. Kyle says Mario Bros. 2 if that's on the Virtual Console. All right, so
The Xeno Dripper just came out, didn't it? Was that
Yeah.
yeah, it just came out. So
Came out in the last week or so.
yeah, it looks fantastic. I think the only things that I've heard about it is it's really short. But other than that, it does look like a really great game, though.
Yeah, I was
cool.
contemplating purchasing that one and trying to play it to add it to the 3DS shop really quick. But.
Gotcha. And it looks like we actually do have a caller on the line as well, so let's get them on the line now. Hello.
Oh.
Is
Ladies
this-
and gentlemen, let's get ready to talk some Nintendo!
You are awesome. You are amazing. Thank you for calling in again. We're good. Just talking about the best of 2014. So what is that to you? What is the best of 2014?
I'll tell you, Greg, unethic, loves the reference to the other games. Also, Steve, I agree with you guys. I love Shovel Knight. I'm not gonna lie. I love Shovel Knight. You can't beat the price, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask you guys, especially now, this is when it gets the most busy time. You guys find yourself playing more games at this time of the year, just more hours of gaming at this time of year than the other time, or not really?
I think for myself, like the summer is probably when I play the most, but the winter is probably like the second most, just because that's when I just don't have school as much, so I have a bit more time to really play, I think.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. I've been playing so much lately. The wife has me sleeping in Couch City, USA. And let's put it this way. I told you guys what happened last time. She got me in the doghouse, and now I told you I'd take her shoe shopping. Let's just put it this way. They are naming a wing after me at Payless Shoe. And also, I wanted to ask you guys, did you guys notice in different areas of the country, just different gaming, the different attitudes towards gaming? I feel like the gaming industry seems to be a little more intense in the tri-state metropolitan. Barry, you can probably answer that, right? Do you think it'd be probably more intense in the New York, New Jersey area?
Yeah, I do. I think definitely certain areas there's a bigger marketing push by publishers, and there's also a very different attitude when it comes to gamers too. This area that we're in, the Metro North, is very heavily populated by a lot of game collectors and a lot of people who do actually know their things. Whereas if you go other places, I went down to Tennessee for Thanksgiving. And, I saw, 50, $60 games sitting on the shelf, and they had no idea, what they were. Like, it's very lax down there. There's not a lot of, in-your-face marketing where you go to New York City and you see billboards for games.
Oh, absolutely. And I saw the Thanksgiving video game pickup, Tennessee with the in-laws, huh? That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
If I did that with my in-laws, I'm going to need a strawberry factory for a shot of peach. That's funny you said that. I was watching it the other day, but also I was listening. Was there a little problem with Blog Talk East today, right? I noticed start time was a little later.
Oh yeah, we just had some issues with YouTube and everything. Yep.
I'll tell you. But guys, you're doing a great job. Thanks. I know the podcast is getting big, so thanks for not getting all Hollywood on me and not taking my call. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Always happy to have you.
I knew it was going to be a good podcast. I have the same exact shirt that I'm right now.
What about mine over here? I got old school.
Yeah, see, and I love the setup in back.
Thank you.
But yeah, thanks again for taking my call, and I'll be listening. Great job, and Have a great New Year, guys. Happy holidays. God bless.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you very
too.
much.
See you soon.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
I am still here.
Okay, just want to make sure because there's two things of New Jersey. I didn't want to accidentally mute you or something instead. So yeah, always happy to hear from everybody that calls in. So if you guys want to call in, go for it, and we'll kind of go over your thoughts on the best of 2014. It's always great to hear from more people. You don't have to keep hearing our voices all the time. You know, you can join in as well. So that kind of brings us to we've wrapped up the eShop, right? Apparently, Shovel Knight is the game to get for eShop. So there's that. But now it's on to the full retail titles. So we're going to start off with the 3DS, and now all of us have choices for these games now. We've all been getting plenty of retail titles. So we'll kick things off with Steve. What is your third choice?
It's the game I was just playing right before we started, Pokemon. It was a game that I wasn't expecting to get. To be completely honest with you, it was kind of a surprise that the Nintendo sent us a couple copies, and so I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and download it, try it out, and specifically I've been playing Alpha Sapphire, and it's really cool. I skipped over the last generation ones that brought it into 3D and everything, and so this is the first time really jumping into that more 3D world. I didn't play the original Sapphire either, so it's kind of a new experience for me, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's pretty cool. The only downside is the 3D aspects. It's only 3D and the actual the fights, but other than that, it's pretty cool, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So yeah, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire specifically, but both of them, they're basically the same game. So.
Nice, cool. All right, what about you, Greg? What is your third choice?
Well, first I had a small shout out to my honorable mention, Yoshi's New Island. That was a game that came back out in March. It was a nice sequel to the SNES Classic, and it brought it back closer to that than the DS version never did to it. But my number 3 was actually Fantasy Life that just came out like 2 months ago or something like that. I really enjoyed it. I really love open world games. I also like to explore around, and it kind of reminded me of a smaller version of Skyrim to some extent. So, I mean, that was right up my alley to go around adventuring and doing all sorts of different quests, enjoying a big lengthy, like a big story, even though it was kind of short, which was kind of one of the downsides of it. But I did enjoy pretty much every other aspect of it, though.
Cool, nice. What about you, Barry? I think you might agree, right, with Greg?
Yeah, I kind of got a hybrid answer here between Steve and Greg because, like Greg, I also picked Fantasy Life, and like Steve, I am actually playing it. So it's like kind of hybrid there. But yeah, I love Fantasy Life. It's a game I didn't even hear about until E3, and it was one of my biggest surprises of E3. I love Level 5. I love the games they've made between Professor Layton and Ni no Kuni. I just love MMO style without having to deal with all that drama. So for me, it was right up my alley, portable, and the story is short, but there's so much to do and so much to go back and do and constantly improve yourself and do different hunts and quests. And yeah, it's just a great game. It's definitely worth your time. If you like RPGs, if you like open world stuff, and you have a 3DS, you need to get yourself this game.
Cool. All right, on to my pick for third choice. I might have had Pokemon Omega Ruby in there, but I've only gotten a chance to play like 20 minutes of it, so I didn't think it was really fair to say. But I liked Ruby a while ago, years ago, so I assume I'll like this one. But my third choice was Kirby Triple Deluxe. It's definitely pretty fun. It's your classic Kirby game, and it's definitely cool to get all the different power-ups and everything. It's just another fun Kirby game. There's not really much more to it than that, really. So that is kind of my third choice for 3DS retail. So on to our number 2 choices. What is your second choice, Steve?
A game that I forgot came out in 2014. As a matter of fact, I was looking over the list and could have swore this game came out last year, but it didn't, and loved it. I love every game in the series that I played. Professor Layton and the Azran Legacy. just a awesome puzzle game, awesome adventure, amazing story. Probably not my favorite story of the series, but it is still really great. It's a fantastic game, and that's something I'm always impressed with. From the Layton games are the storyline, because I really got into it because of the puzzles. I really enjoy puzzle games on the go, but the story is just really wraps you in, which is really cool.
Nice. All right. What about you, Greg?
All right, well, this will be the very first occurrence of this game on this podcast tonight, but my pick was actually Super Smash Brothers for 3DS. Yes, there is one game that I felt was better than that game, which will be coming up later. As everyone knows, Smash Brothers is a strong running series, and it's very popular, and I found out to like it quite a lot. It was very difficult for me to place it as the number 2 game. The main things for me was just like the smaller screens, and especially on like some of the like that island level, it zooms out super far, and you can't even see what's going on, and it's just mostly the visibility issues for me, and then there's obviously no joystick for the quick smash attacks like there is for Wii U version. So that is the few knocks I had against it that probably pushed it down a little bit lower than it probably should be on the next list.
Gotcha. All right. What about you, Barry?
Well, unlike you, Greg, I had no problem putting this number 2 on my list because I definitely felt there was something better, and that's also Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS as my number 2. Really, what else is there to say? It's a fantastic game. It's everything you want from Smash on the go, minus the C-stick and the GameCube controller. But it's the only negative really to it is for me the online, the little bit of lag we had when we played. But I had no problem with the smaller screen on the XL. It's just a great game. I mean, if you enjoy Smash Brothers, it's Smash Brothers on the go. And it is absolutely a fantastic game for this year.
Cool. Just looking at the stuff, it seems like, just as a FYI, Greg and Barry seem to have like the same top 3 picks. So I'm not going to say what their number 1 pick is, but they both have the same number 1 pick. So we'll have to wait and see.
We have very similar tastes. What can we say?
I think you just spoiled the pick for Barry. Then I know what his game is.
You know what's funny?
I'm not spoiling any Game of the Year stuff. We'll wait for that. But.
What's funny is that Greg reviewed both of our number 3s, and I reviewed both of our number 1s.
Interesting.
All
right.
Both of our number 2s.
That's true.
So there you go. If you want reviews on all these games, check it out, NintendoFuse.com. So for me, my second choice was Tomodachi Life. That was an interesting game, and
interesting. That's a good word for it.
Yeah, for sure. I still don't really know what to make of it, but it does provide for some entertainment here and there, just the random things that come up. I've only created Miis of my family, but just even seeing them interact with each other is always entertaining. So it definitely.
You haven't put us in your world yet?
Not yet, but I really got to expand. So. So yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting game. It's not for everybody, but if you're the type that likes those quirky, kind of fun, interesting little things, then you may enjoy Tomodachi Life. So that is my second choice. On to, it looks like, I think for the number 1 choice, Steve and I have the same choice, and Greg and Barry have the same choice for theirs. So, Steve, what is your number 1 choice?
I thought Super Smash Brothers was my favorite game of the 3DS retail, even though Barry and Greg disagree. Hudson and I are obviously smarter, so no, I mean of the games that I played, it really was the game. I mean, really Layton and Smash Brothers is really close for me. And they're completely two different experiences. But the game that I just really was excited to have it on 3DS, and I was really pleased with the outcome. They really put out a really quality Smash Brothers game on the 3DS, and I was very happy with it.
Cool. I guess I'll just jump in because it's the same game and that I picked. I picked Super Smash Bros. For 3DS as well as my number one choice. And again, Smash Brothers is my favorite game series of all time, and I think they did a great job of bringing it to the portable. Some people have some issues with the controls, but I kind of liked it, especially using the new 3DS with the little C stick and stuff. But it's fun. Smash Brothers on the go. There's some cool exclusive stages on the 3DS game as well, so I think it's definitely a lot of fun. All right, so now on to the other number one game that was picked by Greg and Barry. So, Greg, what is your choice?
The one game that can only beat Smash Brothers came out back in February, and that was a game called Bravely Default. That was an awesome RPG throwback game, kind of like a Final Fantasy series kind of type of game, and that was just it just blew me away when I played the demo, and I just had to get it. You can pick your different class, you can level up that class, you can learn all sorts of various abilities, you can completely customize your party, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff and have it just the way you want it, and you just go around beating all these random monsters that are stopping your way, and you can adjust the difficulty on the go, you can get more experience or more gold or PG or whatever they wanted to call it, but it was just so unbelievably awesome. I loved the story. It was a great game overall, and I think anyone that's a fan of an RPG game should definitely look out for Bravely Default. And what are your thoughts, Barry?
Well, thank you, Hassan. Before I do talk about it, I will do my honorable mentions here because I did have a few because I didn't realize 2014 had such a stellar lineup for the 3DS after 2013's amazing lineup. But when I did go back and look at this, I did find some, totally wanted to put this on my list. So just brief shout out. Theater Rhythm, Final Fantasy Curtain Call. If you like rhythm games, you like Final Fantasy games, do yourself a favor, get this. It's amazing. Much better than the first one. Persona Q, which is a mashup between the Etrian team and the Persona team. So if you enjoyed Etrian Odyssey, which several of us did last year, then you will probably like this, even if you don't know Persona. But if you like Persona as well, it's a plus. Yoshi's New Island. A lot of people didn't like it. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best Yoshi's Island game, but definitely worth your time. And when I forgot to put, I even forgot came out this year, which you mentioned already, Hassan, which is Kirby's Triple Deluxe, which I blew through that game right when it came out. I had a blast with it. It's a lot of fun, and it's so many games. But yeah, my number one is Bravely Default. What's there not to say that I haven't already said in my review? I mean, it's just a great game. If you like role-playing games, if you like old-school JRPGs, if you like games like Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy III, where you can really just choose and mix and match your jobs on the fly, then it is definitely a game for you. It's made by the same team that did Final Fantasy 3 and 4 remakes on the DS, as well as Final Fantasy 4 Heroes of Light. They already know the engine. It's smooth 3D graphics. There's a lot of really cool Street Pass features. And the story, it slows down a little bit towards the end, but if you push through, it has a really great reveal with two endings. One of the endings, which I wish was canon and isn't, but I was so glad that they at least allowed me to get to that ending, because otherwise I probably would have broken my my 3DS, pushing buttons. But yes, definitely play this game if you like role-playing games, without a doubt. Why are you still listening to us? Just go out now. Find a store, Amazon.com. Do it now.
There you go. So yeah, 3DS retail games, a bunch of good recommendations, a bunch of games that came out, and it seems like the top two games are Bravely Default and Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. So those are kind of the big games if you really want to pick something for 3DS for the holiday season. Any other last minute thoughts on 3DS? All right, I think we kind of covered all the recommendations there. So a couple things from the chat room. Roth says Shovel Knight is definitely worth a download, and if you're into retro games like classic Mega Man and Zelda 2. Lex says I really can't wait to get my new Wii U so I can check out some of these games, for sure. And Richard Romero says Wii U 32GB bundle is only $250 at Target this week. Thinking about hopping on that deal, so definitely check it out. Wii U is one of those systems, now there's Wii U, Xbox One, PS4, but Wii U's been out the longest, so there's a lot of good games out for Wii U right now, especially, looking for a good package to get somebody for the holidays. Wii U, can't go wrong with that at all. And Kyle says he loves Super Smash Brothers. Don't we all, Kyle? Don't we all? All right, so that brings us to Wii U retail. All right, folks. So with Wii U retail, some interesting little patterns here. I'm not going to say anything yet. That I was just looking at everybody's choices. So let's start with Steve with your honorable mentions and your third choice.
All right, so I'll try to be quick because I know we only got a few minutes before at least YouTube cuts us off. Honorable mentions: Hyrule Warriors, fantastic game, awesome beat 'em up with Zelda, just yeah, and Watch Dogs. I'm really enjoying it. I know there was a lot of people that just weren't really pleased with it as much, even on the other consoles. But from what I played, I'm actually enjoying it. It's a fun concept. But my number 3 pick is Bayonetta 2. For a lot of people, this is the best Wii U game this year. It got really, really good scores and stuff in the reviews and everything. Fantastic game. I will be honest that I don't actually own it yet. I played it a lot, but I don't actually own it because I might it's this close to Christmas. I went ahead and held off on buying it myself because I might get it as a gift or something like that. So, but Bayonetta 2, fantastic.
Cool. Which, by the way, I don't think we're going to be able to make the time for 10 o'clock. So just a FYI for everybody listening, YouTube is doing maintenance from 10 p.m. to midnight, and supposedly we might not be able to stop the video stream at 10 p.m. I hope it doesn't cut people off or anything. So we'll kind of see what happens in a couple minutes or so. But we'll keep going. So we're ready to give you guys our picks. So what about you, Greg? What is your number 3 choice and any honorable mentions?
Well, unfortunately, I like Steve, I'll actually probably get Watch Dogs and Bayonetta 2 on Christmas Day, so I was unable to include them in my list. But one of my honorable mentions was Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. That was a great game. Glad to see DK in high definition. It was very, very enjoyable and difficult, just like the returns that was on 3DS and Wii in the last few years. So, but my number 3 was actually Hyrule Warriors, as Steve had mentioned his honorable mention. Very fun Zelda mashed up with Dynasty Warriors. I had a pretty fun time playing it. Did finish the story and other stuff, but I did not finish Adventure Mode. That seems like it would be take quick. When my other picks get better, you'll see why. But
Cool. All right, Barry, what is your third choice?
My honorable mentions first are Bayonetta 2, a phenomenal game. Definitely support it. Definitely go out and get it. It's fantastic. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, again, just another great Donkey Kong game. Retro really knows how to do it. And Captain Toad Treasure Trackers, which is a lot of fun. And I just finished it, it wasn't terribly hard. It wasn't terribly difficult. It's not going to take you a lot of time, but it's one of those that has a lot of replay value, a lot of extra challenges to go back for. And it's just a blast. But my number 3, which I might hear some boos out there, but is Mario Kart 8. Hit number 3 for me.
Oh no!
I think it's up there.
no.
I know, blasphemy. There are many people say Game of the Year for Wii U, and it's not my number 3. What can I say? But it's a great game. I love Mario Kart 8. I think it's one of the best Mario Karts out there. If it had classic Mario Kart 64 battle mode, it might be higher, maybe. But no, I love the DLC. I love seeing Link there. I can't wait for the future DLC with Villager and Isabelle. If you haven't picked up Mario Kart 8 right now, you don't need me to tell you this. Everybody tells you this. Go pick up Mario Kart 8. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, honorable mention. Well, I might have had Watch Dogs on my list. I bought it when it came out, but I have not even played it yet. I've just been so busy, so I still need to play that. But Disney Infinity 2.0, I wanted to hold off for a while. I ended up getting that, and this is my honorable mention, by the way, but I got a lot of the figures, and it's been pretty cool, so that's been fun. But my third pick is Hyrule Warriors. And like Greg said, it's been just really cool. Just there's so many different modes in the game. There's lots to do. It's just very fun, kind of combining the two different styles of your Dynasty Warriors and your Zelda game together, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm definitely happy with it. So that is my third choice right there. All right, Steve, what is your second choice?
Well, number 2, even though it is my favorite game series, it actually become number 2 for this year, is Mario Kart 8. So some people might be surprised to hearing that from me too. but it's a fantastic game. Like, there's not really much you can complain about, really. The battle mode isn't what it should be, but other than that, it's really, really fun. I wish they did more with online stuff, and I think they might more. But yeah, DLC has made it even better. It's a great game, but not quite number one.
Right. What about you, Greg?
I think Steve pretty much literally took the words out of my mouth. It's Mario Kart 8. I am also someone that usually always ranks Mario Kart over Smash Brothers and every other kind of game that you can think of. But I think the main difference was for me is they kind of removed that extra item thing that made the red shells and green shells quite unbalanced in this one. So I felt like it was kind of a habit when kind of keeping me from playing online. It did hit the Wii one a lot, despite like the hackers and everything. I even still play Mario Kart 7 online on my 3DS, but that one's a little bit more enjoyable to play online. But Mario Kart 8, not as much.
Right. All right, Barry. So you've already picked Mario Kart 8. So what is your second choice?
Here's where the role reversals come in. I picked Mario Kart 8 third. You guys picked the second. Your third was my second. Hyrule Warriors was my number 2. And I think the reason I picked Hyrule Warriors over Mario Kart 8, unlike everybody else, is a lot of you have stated you did the story and that was about it. And I was the same boat as you. I did the story. I was like, this is pretty cool, and I put it down and I started playing other games. But then I picked it back up and I went into the adventure mode, and then I lost hours upon hours upon hours of my life. Because the adventure mode is really the meat and the potatoes of the game, not the story. The story is just fluff. It's just to teach you the game. The adventure mode has all the unlocks, 4 characters to unlock, tons of weapons to unlock. It's just so many different objectives and challenges and replayability. And with every DLC, there's new challenge maps. There's a challenge map. There's the Master Quest map. There's the Twilight Princess map. Majora's Mask is coming out. It's just so much to that game with the level cap raise. It really is a meaty game. Even if I'm not a Dynasty Warriors fan, I never played them, but I am a Zelda fan, and I really like the style that they did. It's a love letter to the Zelda fans by far. And if you delve into the adventure mode, you sit down and say, I'm going to do this. Even if you pull out a guide to help you, I think you'll appreciate the game a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely pick that up this holiday.
I'll just say, one of the reasons why it's not higher on my list is I haven't actually fully played it yet. It's another one of those games, kind of on my Christmas list, because it's being so close. So after I play it, I might want to go back and I might reorder my top Wii U games. But I did put it as an honorable mention because from what I've seen, it looks fantastic. But I am excited to eventually go through it and play it a lot more.
Well, don't stop at the story. Go into the adventure.
Gotcha.
I did. I just was kind of turned away from some of the difficulty of it. It was like I was trying to get an A rank on everything I was starting, and then some of it was just like really hard to do to beat these mega bosses with only losing one heart or whatever.
Yeah, but you can't do it at the start. That's why you level up. You don't go for A's right away. You start off slow, you level your characters, get better weapons, and you come back and kick their butt.
Yeah, well, I think my guys are like level 30-something, maybe early 40s. I don't know, but I thought they would seem pretty high. Maybe I know it probably was a lot higher though.
Gotta keep going. I know you could do it. Next year, I want to hear he beat Adventure Mode. Come on, Greg. That's your challenge for the year of 2015.
There we go. I'm going to go by Shovel Knight, and Greg's going to beat Adventure Mode in Hyrule Warriors. Those are the takeaways from the podcast. For me, so Barry kind of switched it up while I'm switching it back. Mario Kart 8 is my second choice. Again, everybody kind of covered it. Mario Kart 8 is my second favorite game series, or Mario Kart, I guess, is my second favorite game series ever, and Mario Kart 8 is a ton of fun. The levels are great. DLC is awesome, what they're doing with that. Like everybody said, battle mode is a little disappointing, but I mean, overall, it's a lot of fun, and it looks gorgeous too in HD, so definitely great stuff. So that brings us to the number one Wii U game, and I think it's pretty obvious that we all pretty much picked the same thing. I wonder what it is. Might be this little thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Yeah, right? Or what is it?
Yeah.
Pets, Dogs 2, I don't Yeah, it's this little game. I don't know if anybody's heard of it. It's
Barbie's
something like-
Dream Heart. Barbie's Dream House.
Super Smash Brothers? Anyone? What? So
Oh,
Super Smash Brothers for
I
Wii
think
U.
you
yeah,
got
that game.
Hey,
Yeah,
wait, isn't
yeah.
that on PlayStation 2? I think it is.
I think that's only exclusive for the 3DS, isn't it?
So
Yeah, because
Smash
the
Brothers for
Wii U
Wii
doesn't
U.
have any games, so obviously Smash Brothers is not on there.
Yeah, it must be 3DS only apparently. So I guess I'll just kick it off and just say, I mean, this game is just packed with content and lots of great characters, lots of great stages, lots of great modes, music. I mean, everything about it is just so much fun. It's my favorite game series of all time, and they did it justice with the amount of content they packed in there. It is just amazing, and it looks amazing too in HD for sure. What about you, Steve? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's really the main reason why I put it higher than Mario Kart, because the amount of content. I mean, if you're looking just right across the board, Mario Kart for $60 versus Smash Brothers for $60, there is a ton more content with Smash Brothers, and that's really why there's not too many things about that game that I don't like. In fact, I reviewed both of them this year. I gave Mario Kart a 9, and I gave Smash Brothers a 9.5. Both fantastic games, but there's just so much more content there, and especially it's just like it really is just a huge love letter to Nintendo fans, and also third-party fans, because you got even more third-party characters this time, and even nods to other third parties and indies and the trophies and all those other things. It's just really fantastic game.
Right. What about you, Greg?
Obviously, same thoughts, packed with content. Makes Mario Kart 8 kind of look pretty depressing that there's still with 32 courses on the normal game disc, and they have to resort to adding all the courses as DLC. But obviously, there's plenty of stages, tons of fighters, tons of modes, plenty to do, keep you hours entertained. I had brought it over on Thanksgiving, convinced my cousin to get a Wii U now, so happy about that. My sister is also contemplating getting the Wii U as soon as possible, because Smash Brothers and Mario Kart 8 are now available, so I might have just turned 2 more sales of Wii U consoles to my family. So it did a great job. It really convinced them after what seems like a while ago, Brawl kind of turned away a lot of people, and it seems like this version brought everyone back to say, like, hey, this is a lot similar to Melee, and it plays a lot better than Brawl. It's a very great game.
Right. What about you, Barry?
So Hello Kitty Island Adventure is a really cool game, and definitely was my game. What? Smash Brothers? Oh, Smash
she's
Brothers.
playing it's this trophy.
Sorry, I'm getting confused. Now, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Again, if you need my recommendation to pick up Smash Brothers, then I don't know where you've been for the past 15 years, but you should be playing Smash Brothers. I mean, there's so much to this game. The only thing I would like to see is more DLC, because I'm a whore for more things. I'd love to see the 3DS stages go into the Wii U version through connectivity. I'd love to see some more characters, but even if it stayed as is with just adding Mewtwo in the Miiverse stage, I'd still be happy, because it's a fantastic, fantastic game that's cram-packed with tons and tons of modes, tons of content, tons of music. It's just a phenomenal game.
Right. And I should just add, like, what other game, 8 players, 1080p, 60 frames per second, just looks amazing. That just doesn't happen. So props to Sakurai and the team for doing that. It's pretty amazing.
What I want to know is, what other game can you take a toy and have it kick your ass?
That is true. So yeah, lots of great stuff there with Smash Brothers. I'm gonna jump over to the chat real quick, and let's see here. So I, Mr. Blanky, also mentioned, I said earlier about the sale about Target having the Wii U bundle for $250. He said that if you miss it at Target, it's $275 at Best Buy, and GameStop has it for $300. So just FYI if you needed prices. And yeah,
3DSs are also on sale.
Yeah, exactly. There's been lots of sales, especially I think with the 2DS as well. The new those are the crystal ones that are kind of see-through a little bit. So those have been on sale as well, which are pretty cool. But yeah, it looks like it's after 10 o'clock. We're all still here, so I guess YouTube is letting us. I guess everything's going okay for now. We'll see how it goes when we try and
No one's
stop.
replied to the chat, though.
See if we can end it.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So you guys, if you guys are in the chat, keep posting your favorite games. Let us know what your game of the year for 2014 is, and we'll see if that matches up. Because right now we're about to get into our game of the year choices. So this is kind of, we've given you 3DS, eShop and retail, Wii U, eShop and retail, and now we're all going to get into our top picks out of all of that. So we're going to do this a little bit differently. I think it'll kind of be nice if we each give our top 3 picks, at a time, basically, just to kind of, change it up a little bit and leave a little bit of suspense for the final ultimate Nintendo Fuse winners, I guess. So Steve, do you want to start off and give us your top 3 picks for Game of the Year?
All 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're actually the same as my Wii U picks, my Wii U retail picks. It's Bayonetta for 3, Mario Kart for number 2, and Smash Brothers for number 1. I really think the Wii U had a fantastic year, and those are just 3 of the many great games that came out on the Wii U this year. We just got done talking about several others as well, but so really, yeah, Smash Brothers on the 3DS, fantastic game, but not quite as good as Mario Kart or Bayonetta on Wii U. So that's why all 3 of my top games were all Wii U, and yeah.
Gotcha. By the way, I just got a tweet from Mr. Blanky. He just said the stream is still up on YouTube, but the chat is dead. So sorry, guys, if you're trying to chat. Looks like because of the maintenance, they took down the chat room. So I apologize for that. But if you check NintendoFuse.com, there's a link to TalkShoe, and there is a chat room there if you do want to chat as well. And you can call into the podcast through that also. So do check that out. Looks like a guest just popped into the chat room. So
on the post too.
Sorry, what were you saying?
If you go to the NintendoFuse.com and click on the podcast post, you could post a comment and discuss on the bottom, and we could read it there too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's another option as well. So lots of ways to join in and interact with the podcast. All right, Greg, what are your top 3 choices then for Game of the Year?
Well, I pretty much went with my number 1. It's my number 3. I went with Shovel Knight. I was just super impressed with that. I was happy to review it. That was such a great game, as we said earlier. Number 2, unfortunately, it was Bravely Default. It really pained me to make that number 2, but my number 1 was the Smash Brothers for Wii U. I'm having a solid time. I hopefully convinced other people to get sales. I'm enjoying playing against the amiibos and going through all the various challenges and events, and it just hasn't stopped. I don't know if I'll get to Adventure Time because I'll still be playing Wii U Smash Brothers.
Gotcha. All right, Barry, what are your top 3 picks?
I see. Last year when we did this, my number 1, only mine, was number 1 for us for the site, and my number 2 was our number 2, and our number 3 was our number 3. I picked it. This year, I was completely off because I'm the black sheep. My number 3 was Hyrule Warriors. Love that game. Number 2, Smash Brothers. That's right. Smash Brothers was my number 2, and number 1 was Bravely Default. I just think that game is too good. I mean, as awesome as Smash Brothers is, if I had a choice to pick Smash Brothers or Bravely Default of which one I wanted to play, and I hadn't played either, it would be Bravely Default. Like, it's just such a good story. It's so good. I know I'm the black sheep on that, but I gotta stand by it. In fact, when I sent in my list to Hassan, I actually thought I put Smash Brothers first, and I was like, oh crap, I gotta email him and say no, Bravely Default. And then when I checked, I'm like, oh, I did put Bravely Default, like Freudian, I really love this game. So that's my picks. I'm wrong this year.
Gotcha. All right. So for me, my number 3 pick was Mario Kart 8. Great game, and it's a lot of fun, and so I had to put that on my list. My number 2 choice, I guess nobody picked this for one of their Game of the Year picks, but it was Super Smash Brothers for 3DS. I love Smash Brothers, and having it on the portable, I loved it. I thought it translated very well to the portable, and so this exclusive stages to the game are great as well. So that's my second choice, and number 1, of course, Super Smash Brothers for Wii U. So much content, and it's a blast. So With that being said, we kind of tallied up all of our choices basically, and here's the system that I did for coming up with our official NintendoFuse Game of the Year. For anybody wondering, the what I did is for every number 1 choice that we each had, I gave 3 votes. For every number 2 choice, 2 votes, and every 3rd choice, 1 vote. And I tallied it all up between the 4 of us. And I'll mention. Let's see here. With 1 vote each. So this is not our top 3 yet, but with 1 vote each, we had Bayonetta 2 was one of them, which was I think Steve's 3rd pick. We had Shovel Knights, which was Greg's 3rd pick, and Hyrule Warriors, which is Barry's 3rd pick. And actually, wait, no, sorry, and then also Smash Brothers for 3DS. That also had 1 vote, which was my second.
That should add 2
no,
points.
2 votes. 2 votes. I was wondering why I had 2. Okay, yeah. So 2 points there. So that leaves us with our top 3. So with 3 votes, we had Mario Kart 8 as our 3rd choice for overall NintendoFuse Game of the Year. All right. Runner-up with 5 votes is Bravely Default. Is our runner-up NintendoFuse Game of the Year, and of course with 11
I wonder what number
votes,
1 is.
it is
Hello Kitty,
Barbie's Dreamhouse. All right.
Nintendogs and cats.
Houses with a Z.
So obviously, Super Smash Brothers for Wii U is our NintendoFuse 2014 Game of the Year. It's Smash Brothers. If you don't have it, go get it. You know, I mean, it's really that's pretty much it. If you don't have it, why are you listening to the podcast? I don't know. But apparently, you know, Bravely Default and Mario Kart 8 also great games, and so definitely check those out as well. So those are our top 3 picks for Nintendo Fuse Game of the Year: Smash Brothers for Wii U at number 1, Bravely Default for number 2, and Mario Kart 8 at number 3. So that kind of wraps things up there as well. So thank you all for listening. Any last thoughts, you guys, on 2014 for gaming?
No, I think you know what I said earlier. Just like I think it was a great year for Wii U. You know, there were some quality games for 3DS, but I really think Wii U really picked it up this year. And yeah, if you haven't got a Wii U yet, now is the time to go get one and pick up a lot of those games. But at the same time, there's an amazing huge 3DS backlog out there as well for you guys to play on your 3DS as well.
Go on, Greg.
I was going to say, I definitely extend those same thoughts. The Wii U had a phenomenal year, tons of titles, both on the eShop and on the retail space. As you've heard us all talk about some really great games, even though a number of them came out these last 3 months, it's still worth the definite purchase right now. I did have one comment about my Bravely Default vote. If they had removed two of those chapters towards the end, I probably would have ranked it a little bit higher, but it was a pain to go through every single thing 4 or 5 times in a row. It just didn't sit well to be a number 1 choice.
I think 2014 was a year that Nintendo really needed to bring their A game, and I think they did. 2013, you know, we said the same thing, and I think they did as well, but they did a better job this year. And even with Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Hyrule Warriors, Bayonetta 2, you know, Captain Toad, Donkey Kong Country, so many stellar releases this year. I know for a fact, unless something is delayed, 2015 is going to be 3 times as big. Xenoblade, Yoshi, Zelda, Star Fox, Kirby, plus tons of other stuff we have no idea about. Devil's Third. There's just so much coming out.
Mario Maker.
There's so many I'm forgetting. If you guys love 2014 and you've been sticking with Nintendo and you have a Wii U and you're enjoying it, hold on for the ride because 2015 is just getting started.
It's true. So actually, I got a question because we know a lot of the games that's going to be out for 2015 for Wii U. Just spitball it out there. What do you think is going to be your favorite Wii U game from 2015?
Oh.
Well, If there's one game I think they're going to announce. I don't know if it's going to release in 2015 or not, but I think they're going to announce a new Animal Crossing. And if that does end up releasing in 2015, then that will, of course, be my favorite for sure. I don't know for sure, though, if it will or not. But other than that, gosh, I don't know. We don't know too much about the Star Fox game, so it's hard to say.
No.
But Zelda does look really good. Zelda looks really good. So, yeah.
See, Steve, you asked me pretty much to pick between which child I like better, because on one hand we have Zelda, my favorite series of all time, and on the other hand we have Xenoblade Chronicles X, and Xenoblade Chronicles was my favorite game of all last generation. So it's kind of like I don't know how to pick.
It's really tough, isn't it? I mean, because I got Zelda, which I love a lot, but then I'm a huge Star Fox fan, and I've been waiting for this next Star Fox for so long, and I can't believe they didn't put out anything for the Wii. And then but then they got other games like Splatoon that I'm really excited to see.
Oh yeah,
what they're doing with
I forgot
Splatoon.
about that.
So I'm like, oh man, there's brand new stuff too. So it's
man.
going to be a great year, I think. Greg, what do you think? What are you
Splatoon looks
looking forward
amazing.
to?
Providing we don't have another Skyward Sword delay, I would think Zelda's pretty much a good shoo-in for me, unless I'm blown away by like Splatoon or Mario Maker to outrank it. But I love the open world games, as I've said with Bravely Default and Fantasy Life. So doing that with Zelda, it's gonna be. It pretty much has #1 written on it for me, without even playing it yet. And that's also assuming that it actually makes next year too, as they keep saying. Zelda's long known for lengthy delays, and we might have some fun waiting for it. So
Right.
apparently I had a guess.
Special guest
I think
on the
you're
podcast.
being summoned. Cameo.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff coming up as well. We did have a question in the chat. We might just kind of end with this last question here, saying, what are your thoughts on some amiibos being exclusive and the Wii U GameCube adapters going for a lot of money since they're hard to find? So, as we know, with the amiibo that have been released, some of them are already practically discontinued. There's some other ones coming out that are going to be exclusive to different retailers. They're going to be hard to collect them all. I was afraid of that. I was afraid that they would kind of get really popular and it would be kind of hard to get them all, so I am a little worried, but at the same time, it's good to see them selling well, so I think it seems like a lot of people posted pictures online at stores. They're like pretty much like all gone and everything, all their amiibos. So since this is kind of like a big new product line for Nintendo, I'm glad that it's really taking off, and I'm excited to see where they go from here with them.
Yeah, I think Nintendo did not anticipate. They hoped, but they didn't anticipate. And I can honestly say, if they have those three, Marth, Villager, and Wii Fit Trainer, discontinued after 2 weeks, I think that's a mistake. The money is there, the demand is there. I mean, that's business 101, supply and demand. There's demand, make supply. The retailer exclusive
GameCube
stuff.
controller adapter?
That's another thing. Supplies, there's demand. There's clearly demand. I mean, they even advertised 8 players with 8 GameCubes each players. You need, 2 GameCube adapters, and there are people who can't get one, let alone 2.
They're giving away one free on Twitter.
Oh boy. Good luck.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the retailer exclusive thing I saw, I'm a Skylanders fan, so I expected that. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when things are sold out pre-order 3 months before they even come out, and they're not even put up on the site. I mean, that's ridiculous. They should not be sold out of pre-orders on an item. If you're selling out pre-orders, that tells you there's a huge demand. There's your money. You're not selling them at a loss. Pop them out. Nintendo right now needs fans. They put out Amiibo to win fans back, to make money. Nintendo does not want to alienate their fans right now. That was not a smart business decision. Put out the toys, let them play. Us guys, us boys, we need our toys. Give them to us, damn it.
Yes, I agree.
And not broken ones with 2 cannons on Samus's arm.
No, I'll take those.
Or no legs.
50,000.
Or no legs, or... Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just really interesting. I mean, I don't know if you guys talked about it because I was muted or I dropped from the call for a second, but yeah, it is interesting. There's a lot of defects, and I know that happens with a lot of action figures and things like that. They come out, there's a lot of defects, and that's what creates the collectibles and everything. But it seems like I don't know, maybe it's just what I'm into, so that's why I see it more. But it seems like there's a lot more than there should be of these defects.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Mexican government for you. What can I say? They're made in Mexico, so.
Right. But yeah, I guess we'll have
Lost
to
a lot
wait
of
and see
Mexican visitors.
how the amiibos. We'll have to wait and see how they go. I mean, hopefully they'll release them in bigger quantities and everything, and yeah. But I'm excited about the future of amiibos for sure. And Guest 11 in the chat says the demand for Nintendo-based toys have been there. I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely a good market for them, and we'll see how it goes from here. So I think that kind of wraps up 2014. We talked about 3DS, Wii U. We gave you our Game of the Year picks. Smash Brothers for Wii U is our NintendoFuse Game of the Year. And now we look ahead to 2015. We got lots of good stuff on the way, which is really exciting. So thank you all so much for listening to us over the years and through 2014. It's been a lot of fun, especially since we started doing these live streams and everything, and that's been a lot of fun this year for sure. So we'll be back in 2015, of course, with more podcasts. We don't have a specific date yet, but usually we kind of do it around the big, whenever there's kind of big news stories to discuss. So I'm sure after the holidays are done, we'll be back in action to discuss Nintendo's 2015 plans, and I'm excited for the future. So thank you all so much, and we will see you guys later.
So yeah.
See ya.
Bye.